You can go to wedamBu TV. That's WEDAMBU then space TV on YouTube.
A wonderful good morning to you, good afternoon to you, and good evening to you all, depending on what time you are watching this video, as well as depending on which part of the globe you are watching us from. My name, as always, is Atolwe Peter Wedam, and I am a lead presenter at wedamBu TV. Now, what comes to mind when you hear the terms mental health? What comes to mind when you hear the terms psychiatric nurse, mental health nurse? Okay, who are the people we usually refer to as madmen or madwomen? Do you even know there is no such description as madman or madwoman? Now, do you also know that according to the Mental Health Act 2012, Act 846, you cannot actually sack a man or a woman from work or sack a man or woman from his or her place of residence simply because the person has mental health issues? Now, you could actually be sued in Ghana as of today, 2024 going, when you call somebody a mad man simply because the person has mental health issues. Now, if you didn't know all of this, I have even more insight and education for you. As wedamBu TV, we moved camp from our base in Navrongo to have this very interactive and insightful interview with the Upper East Regional Coordinator of Mental Health, Mr. Edem, Quarshie, Ameglah. Learn something new, learn something very educative from this interview, and kindly share this broadcast so that many more people will learn and know all the relevant issues relating to mental health. Yeah, so kindly introduce yourself to our viewers.
My name is Edem, Quarshie, Ameglah.
Okay.
I'm the Upper East Regional Mental Coordinator.
Okay. Sir, we have to appreciate you for granting us this opportunity to talk about this very important topic of mental health.
Thank you.
Yeah. So, sir, to begin with, I would like to ask, mental health, what is it actually?
Okay. Mental health is a state of well-being in which an individual realizes his abilities or potentials. Then that person should also be able to manage the normal stresses of life.
Okay.
They should also be able to work fruitfully or productively.
Okay.
And at the end of the day, you should make a contribution to your community. That's how the mental health means.
Okay. We who are not in the professionals in the sector usually hear these two conflicting or almost synonymous terms: mental health, psychiatric health. Is mental health synonymous with psychiatric health? Are they one and the same?
People use it interchangeably. We don't see much difference. Yeah.
Okay. So they mean about the same thing?
Yes. The common man,
okay,
when a common man hears of mental illness,
okay,
or mental health or psychiatric health, the person is talking about the same thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
So somebody whispered to me that there is some kind of rebranding of health professionals in the arena of mental health. We used to know your staff as psychiatric nurses, and I understand to some extent that they are being rebranded as mental health nurses. Why is it the need for that rebranding if it is the case?
Okay, thank you. These are terminologies that sometimes can change from one to another. Even though we now use more of mental health nurses when it comes to that set of professionals, even though there are other set of professionals. Some people still say psychiatric nurses, and some people think that the psychiatric lesson when you are called that way is sort of stigmatizing or demeaning.
It's not palatable a term.
Yes.
Okay.
So that changed from a psychiatric nurse to a mental health nurse.
Okay.
Eventually the same thing you do.
Okay. Okay. So, sir, kindly tell me, is mental health a problem for only adults?
Okay, mental health is not a problem for only adults. It's something that affects. Mental health actually is something that we see throughout life, from childhood to adulthood. Because mental health, everybody wants to live in mental health. So children should also be having a good mental health, as well as adults should also have a good mental health.
Okay. The premise on which I'm asking this particular one is the fact that, if you recall, in the recent past, there have been media reports of young children who are in lower primary, sometimes nursery, committing suicide allegedly. And it beats my mind that such a young child will even contemplate taking their own life, if it is not issues that have to do with mental health at that early age of their lives.
Okay. Yeah, as you rightly mentioned, we see, but let me make, since for a sake of education, let me make this correction before we proceed. Or you mentioned that a person on the top of the suicide,
yes,
the suicide, you use a term
allegedly
committed suicide.
Yes.
Okay. Committed suicide, that's what I want to make that correction. When you say commit suicide, as if it's a crime.
Okay. That's how we see it.
It's a crime. It's something wrong that somebody has done.
Yeah.
But we know that for somebody to contemplate and even actually go to the extent of attempting
taking their life,
sometimes even taking their life at the end, it's not a crime. I would say it may be as a result of some psychological issues that the person may be having, that the person is not able to really overcome. And so when society sees it as a crime, then the needed health attention that it needs will not be drawn to it.
So your campaign or call is that as a society, Ghanaians, we shouldn't see people who attempt to commit suicide as committing a crime, but there are other people who have issues with their mental states of mind that they need help, and not criminalizing them.
Yes. So I'll say it's a call for help.
Okay.
It's a call for help. And when you look at the amendment of our criminal offenses, and some portion actually pertaining to suicide has been
expunged,
amended, such that anybody who attempts suicide, and likely the person has not died,
the person fails to commit a suicide,
then the person should be taken to a health facility for care. Even the person should end up in a police station or a court. There, with the changes that are coming, if the president gives his assent to that, it will mean that the person will be referred to a mental professional or a mental facility for assessment
and treatment. Okay. So it is.
So back to the main question.
Yes. When I asked why children as young as in lower primary or kindergarten will also contemplate committing suicide, because news reports in the Ghanaian media have shown that in the recent past, some children have actually committed suicide.
Yes.
Sorry, I used the word again.
Children have actually taken their life.
Yes.
Yes, taking their life. That should be the right terminology to use. Okay. Children. As I mentioned earlier, mental health issue affects all people. When we come to mental illnesses, mental distresses, it affects all categories of people. And mental illnesses have its roots, its beginning in even a teenage period. But unfortunately, parents and caregivers are not able to identify this issue early, and so some people may say, "Oh, this person is somebody who is not paying attention, is just being disturbing, or the person is welling back," not knowing the child as young as 5 maybe having some psychological issues that the parent or those around him or her should be able to detect and probe further for attention. That's why we urge that parents should be friends to their children, so that anything that is bothering them, they can freely open up and tell us. So actually, in school, those children who are going to school, when, for instance, teachers observe that there's a drop in their academic performance. Then they come to school late. The things that they used to do, they are no longer, the good things that they used to do, they are no longer doing same. Then it should draw attention that there is something wrong with this child that needs attention.
Okay.
So indeed, children
also do have mental health issues.
Mental health issues.
Okay. So
there are some that come mainly in childhood.
Okay.
We see some children very hyperactive.
Okay.
Very, very happy. Cannot sit here. If the child is there, will turn the whole table
upside down,
or the room upside down. That needed to be probed. Okay. So we have to take such a person, a child, to the nearest health facility. If they cannot offer the needed health assessment, then they can refer you to the next level for that support. Okay.
You talked about a child being hyperactive. Let's look at the other side of the coin. How about a child who is abnormally very quiet and reserved? Is that also a signal for that child to be monitored and watched at?
There's also a need for that child also to be observed. Something might be wrong. For children, they should not be abnormally looking sad,
very quiet, reserved, keeping to their corner.
Yes, isolated. When children are there, they want to be on their own. There will be something wrong that they need.
So a parent or the caregiver should have that child talked to.
Sure.
Okay. So, Mr. Edem, please tell me, how often should one go visit the mental health professional or specialist? Like we have, every year I go and do my medical checkup, I do this, I do that. How often should we go see our psychiatric specialist?
I may not give a exact period, a definite period,
but roughly.
As and when you observe that there's a deviation from your normal behavior, or somebody has pointed to you that it appears ABCD is not going down well, which sometimes you yourself may notice it, but at other times you may not be able to notice same. So when your attention is drawn to, immediately you should have yourself assessed, or anybody you are close to, have that person assessed. So at least every year you could visit a mental health unit, mental health professional, just to have some interaction with them. And during that interaction, certain things that may come up that probably you think are normal, but maybe brought to your attention that ABCD may not
and you have to check
be helpful to you, and you have to check.
Okay, sir. So I also understand there is a mental health awareness week, or is it awareness month annually? If you can confirm that for me, and also add which particular period is that and what happens during the period for professionals like you in the health sector.
We have a mental health day, which comes off annually. That day falls on 10th October every year. But in Ghana, normally it's marked for a week. Then we stretch it to the point that we can even mark it for the entire month of October. So that we can, what basically this day seeks to do, or week or month seeks to do, is that we raise awareness of mental issues. How important they are, how it affects our day-to-day activities, and so attention should be paid to mental health issues in general. It should not be things that we discard as if it's just for some class of people, but it's something that affect everyone. It may not be, when we talk about mental health, people think it's for some class of people. But mental health, if you are not having a good mental health, how can you be conducting this interview?
I'll be asking incoherent questions and unrelated issues.
At the workplace, without a good mental health, how will you be able to do the things that you are expected to do at the workplace? At home, without a good mental health, how will you be able to manage your family and know that there are needs that they have? So it's something that involves everybody.
Great.
The mental illness or disorders that affect people, some people at certain points in time. But it can affect all of us anyway.
Okay, so going forward, can you tell me how common mental health illnesses are? For instance, if you meet every 10 people on the streets, how many of them are likely to have issues related to mental health?
Research suggests that when you take every 4 person, one of them is likely to have or develop a mental illness in the course of life. So the number 10 will say 2 people may develop some form of mental illnesses in the course of life. So that is so that you see that it's really common.
Okay.
2 out of 10 may develop mental illness in the course of life.
Okay.
And that is really close to us than we thought of.
Okay. All right. Can our mental health status have swings, like the way we have mood swings? Like you see me, I look okay. By afternoon, I'm fine. In the evening, you meet me and I behave weird. Within the same day, do mental health issues occur on a range like that?
Okay. Apart from a mental disorder or some mental disorders, normally every human being normally experiencing mood swings. There are swings of mood. There are times that you don't want to talk to anybody. Maybe the person is low just for some period.
Yeah.
But there's a mental condition, especially bipolar disorder, which have swings.
Okay.
That somebody may be extremely happy at one point in time, at another point in time the person may be extremely sad. Or could experience an episode of sadness or extreme sadness, depression. Then at some point you will have another episode of extreme happiness or euphoria.
All right. So help us with this education. What are the signs that someone is losing it? Are there any visible signals that somebody is facing mental health challenges?
Yes.
That we can observe and tell that there's something wrong with this person, the person needs help?
Okay. Yes, there are visible signs that we can see that somebody may be developing some form of mental disorder or mental disorders. Mental disorders because a person can develop more than one mental disorder in the course of life. So some of these signs that sometimes the way the person relates to others, you see that there's a deviation. Then you may say, oh, this is not how this person behaves. How come that this is happening? That could be a signal.
Okay.
Then, or somebody who is not sleeping well.
Okay.
Who are the person used to have a normal sleep pattern.
Okay.
I get to a point you are not able to sleep well. Or the person is sleeping too much. The person is, that is also a concern that needs to be addressed.
Okay.
Then one visible thing that we see, that we hear some people talking to themselves, some may be hearing some voices,
talking to them, giving them instructions.
These are voices that you and I may not hear, but for them, these are serious issues that they are battling with, and so we should not think that they are not real. For them, that will be real. Some people may tell you there are certain things working on their skin. There are certain things that they can feel in their mouth. These forms of hallucinations, that they have various forms. 5 different types of hallucinations that people experience. And for them, these are real. And so when you tell them this is not real, you have problem. Then we have some others like delusion. Delusion where the person will say, I am this, I am that, I am this. We all know the president of this country. So for instance, when somebody all of a sudden says, I am the president of Ghana,
and keeps on taking the title,
keep on taking the title, that may be a challenge. There was a scene where somebody actually went to a district assembly to sack the DC. Because for the person, he was a new DC appointed by the president then. And so no other person seek to.
That's what the mind was telling him at the time.
Yes, and actually the person sack after sack chase. Then everybody was running for their life. Then some people can be coining their own ways. They say things that we will not understand. New ways that they themselves have formed, like neologism. Then they be using certain. Some people will not maintain their personality, will not take their bath, they look unkempt. So are kept. Then for some others, they may be accusing people unjustifiably.
Okay.
Accusations, throwing accusations there, here and there.
Okay.
So this could be some of the sense of symptoms that we can see.
Okay.
Because some people they don't eat. They don't eat much. And for some people to will be overeating.
Okay.
Anything at all
Okay.
goes.
So basically, anything that is untoward of the person, the way we used to know them, could be a signal.
It could be a signal.
So that if it's a pattern.
Yes.
Okay.
It could be a signal. It may not be a mental illness,
Yeah.
but it could be that something is wrong somewhere.
Okay.
It could be a physical illness that is affecting the person that way.
Okay.
So when that is addressed,
Okay.
then that issue will also really go.
All right. All right. Thanks for that explanation. But Mr. Edem, there are these people roaming our streets. They usually wear tattered clothing. Some look dirty. You can see visibly that the person has not combed the hair for a year.
Okay.
We refer to these people as madmen and mad women. Is that really the right term? And at what point in time do we actually call somebody mad?
Thank you. Unfortunately, that's not the right term.
Okay.
There's nobody who is mad.
Okay.
And actually, when you look at the mental at 846, when somebody who has a mental illness or mental illnesses, and you refer to that person as mad, and that person takes you on, you'll be found guilty.
Wow.
And there's a penalty for offenses against people with mental illnesses.
Okay.
So it's not the right term to use.
So how do we call it?
So maybe somebody with a psychosocial disability, or simply put, somebody having a mental illness,
Okay, mental
or the
challenge.
person have a mental disorder.
Okay.
Yes, so those things.
So we should avoid
the use of
calling people as madman, mad
man.
woman. At best, this person has some mental challenges.
or
He doesn't
mental
look
illness.
too okay. Okay.
Yes,
Okay.
but when you use that term,
Okay.
you can find yourself wanted.
Wow, I didn't know that.
You can find yourself
Okay.
wanted.
So it's just like the way there was issue with how we term people as disabled, but we should rather call them people living with disabilities.
Yes.
All right. Thank you very much.
That is more dignifying and all
Yeah.
that. And when you say mad, we don't like to be called mad.
It doesn't actually sound diplomatic.
And there's no medical term
Okay.
as such.
Okay. Okay. All right. So let's make some progress. Sir, what will you say are the main causes of mental illnesses? Is it broken heart? Maybe my girlfriend has jilted me. Somebody took so much money from me, the person is not paying back, and like I lose it. Maybe I've helped a brother through schooling. The expectation is that the brother should work and probably pay me back or take good care of me for that investment. This brother finishes school and abandons me. That knocks me off. I mean, what are the signs? I mean, what are the causes of mental illnesses?
Yeah, all the things you mentioned can contribute to a mental disorder or
Okay.
mental illnesses. One, you could have somebody who is traumatized. Somebody is traumatized in the past
Okay.
or currently.
Okay.
It could be bereavement, that the person has lost somebody who is so dear to him or her.
Okay.
Somebody has lost an investment.
Mm-hmm.
You know, when the DKM and co issue
Men's go.
happened, yes, some years back, some people developed some form of mental illnesses as a result of that.
Okay.
Then people who, for instance, somebody has experienced a serious trauma like an armed robbery attack,
Okay. Near-death experience.
near-death experience.
Yeah.
Some people may really be reliving that
Experience.
Okay, yes, that experience.
Okay.
And that could be some form of mental disability or disorder
Okay.
that will need attention.
Okay.
Then people who have been abused
Okay.
sexually, physically, psychologically. It could be children, it could be adults. This could also contribute to some form of mental illnesses.
Okay.
For children, things that happen to them when they were young, you may not see it, as I said.
Okay.
People may not realize that something is wrong. But as they grow, some of these things come back and they live in those conditions because they've not been well addressed when they were young. There were some ladies that they are of age, probably they may abuse sexually when they were young.
Yeah.
They are of age, they don't want to have anything to do with men.
Great. Even when you mentioned that, I wanted to ask you a probing question. Where we've heard stories of ladies who have married, okay, but the husband has to beg or bring outsiders like mother-in-law to persuade the wife to allow them come together as man and wife. Why? Because this woman was once raped, and even though she is in a legal marriage, anytime the husband wants to have intercourse with her, she resists it and fights the husband as if she was fighting that rapist in the past.
Exactly. That is how she sees it, because it has not been addressed. Normally after a rape, the person is taken to the hospital,
rehab,
the medical, these things are done.
Yeah.
But the psychological aspect, the physical aspect is done.
Yeah.
But the psychological aspect, if left unmanaged, can result in what you just mentioned.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So the person kind of relives it, or anything that is closer to that experience brings back the memory.
The memory.
Okay.
Bring back the memory.
Okay. Okay. So
then the other causes.
Okay.
Then relationship issues.
Yes. You know, earlier on I mentioned broken
heart. Relationship issues. It could be whether the person is married or the person is not married. In marriage relationships,
yeah,
there are serious contributing factors to mental illnesses.
Some of which are,
but there are in some marriages,
either
the man or the woman does not want the partner to be him or herself.
Okay.
It's as if you are being controlled by
overly.
Okay. The person seems to be monitoring you every second.
Okay.
That you cannot have your own life.
Okay.
That I don't know whether that is marriage or slavery.
Or imprisonment.
Because the person is first a human being, probably have been interacting with people
before you met.
So if you want to overly control that person, then it will be problematic.
Okay.
We could have somebody who also have some physical health conditions, could also contribute to mental illness. For instance, even malaria. Very severe, complicated malaria can behave as if the person has some mental illness. Okay. At the moment that is addressed, they realize that
falls back to normalcy.
Yes.
Okay.
Then meningitis, like this, cerebral spinal meningitis, for instance, is something that can also mimic mental illness.
Please tell me, at what age of our life should we pay more or particular attention to our mental health issues, and why?
Okay. One, during the teenage period or the teen period, because at that age, teenagers contemplate so many things, so many ideas come on board, they hear so many things from people. They may not know what is the right way to go. So during that period, so much focus should be placed on them. Okay. And also on the elderly. The elderly should also, we should pay much attention to them as well. Because during that period, some of them may develop some other mental health challenges. Okay. And also in the reproductive period.
Okay.
Also, majority of people also have mental health challenges.
Yes.
So attention should be paid.
Okay. When you mentioned the reproductive period, that brought me an experience I had some time back, about 3-4 years ago, when I accompanied a lady to the maternity at the regional hospital in Bongo. Apparently, there was this young mother who was restless and denying the child she had given birth to, and said that was not her child, and she wanted to go home. When I inquired, the nurses told me that since the lady gave birth, she started acting weird, and she refused to take a bath for how many days, and they were begging to control her, to the extent that they made the security at the maternity block to watch the gate for that woman, else she could escape leaving the baby behind. What has mental health got to do with somebody giving birth and not wanting her own baby and denying that that is her child?
Okay.
What's the connection with mental health?
Okay.
Childbirth, for instance.
Mental have everything to do with the reproductive period. But unfortunately in Ghana, as that midwife mentioned, they don't know what was happening. That woman may be having some form of mental disorder. It could be a postnatal depression or psychosis, which needed to be managed for that mother to be well. If not, it affects the mother, it affects the infant. The mother who is denying that the child belongs to her, that mother is like will not feed that child. When the child is not being breastfed, the mother's breast may engorge. That will be a problem for her. This infant will lack the needed nutrients
in those critical early days.
Yes, for his or her growth. And so we may experience stunting for such a child. And then the weight may also not be appropriate for the age. Actually, we are in a period where WHO have formed a team of consultants to do some situational analysis on maternal mental health in the country. It has clearly shown that we are not paying much attention to the mental health of pregnant women and those who have given birth. And so there's a need for us to focus on them right from pregnancy. Midwives and other health professionals who work with these women need to start questioning them about their mental health.
And not only focusing on the baby yet to be born, is the tummy bulging and all of that.
But there are other health issues
that will impact the pregnancy.
Yes. So when these things are not taken in consideration, it will negatively impact the pregnancy, which we have been missing for ages in the country.
Still talking about what appropriate time we should pay more attention to our mental health. You know, you mentioned the aged, and that's a critical one for me because I have old parents now. Myself, I'm not a young man, so you can imagine my parents. Now, there are times my dad will behave weird, and I talk to my siblings and I go like, Joyce, have you communicated with daddy recently? He says this, he says that, and it's not proper with me. How do we cope with the elderly, our parents who are aging, losing, excuse me to say, some of their mental faculties?
Thank you. There are some mental health conditions that comes with aging. It's not a normal. I will not say it's not a normal part of aging because it's not. If it's normal, it's not. Then everybody should experience it. But some people do not, and some. A condition like dementia affects the elderly a lot.
When they're easily forgetting.
On the age 65, or we can even bring it down to 60. Some people easily forget so many things. I may tell you they have not eaten, they have not taken their bath, they have not done ABCD. And those who are around them knowing very well that they have done these things for them will not be so comfortable. It's as if my father or my mother or my grandfather is disgracing me before people. Things that I've done, he or she
telling the way that I
haven't done. So if care is not taken it will be a problem for those who are taking care of them.
People in old age.
There are some of them that they get missing.
We do hear missing person announcements on radio.
Or the house, they get missing. They don't know
the way back to the house.
And it's really a challenge for people.
Sir, so do you happen to have the statistics of mental health issues in our region, the Upper East region, for instance, the population numbers and then per district distribution if you have.
Okay, yes, that is available, not at hand.
Okay.
Right now.
Okay.
For per the district population.
Okay.
But we can look at maybe some general numbers for some of the mental health conditions.
Okay.
For at least maybe 2023.
You can share that with me.
I think for 2023 we have a total of 1,332 cases of schizophrenia.
Okay.
For the entire
region.
Schizophrenia is one of the severest form of mental illnesses that we have.
Okay.
And I think Bolga Municipal top with that.
The reported cases.
Year,
okay.
Reported cases. And for depression, we have about 210 cases for 2023.
Okay.
And I think the highest case was reported in Bongo.
Okay.
District.
For which case?
With depression.
Okay. Bongo
depression. Yes.
Okay.
And epilepsy, which is not a mental condition, but a neuropsychiatric condition, also recorded 721.
Okay. Region-wide.
Region-wide.
Okay.
For last year.
Okay.
Then alcohol-related issues.
Okay.
Those that came to the facility, region-wide, 194.
194.
Yes, that I know that.
That's alcohol-induced mental illness.
Yes.
Okay.
194. But I know that the numbers will be far higher.
Okay. But you are talking about the ones that you have recorded.
Okay.
And
then when you come to mental disorder due to other substances that people use, like marijuana, cocaine,
snuff.
Yes, that one we have 252 cases that were reported last year.
Okay.
Then in our discussion, I was talking about people reliving the past experiences, post-traumatic stress disorder.
Okay.
We had recorded 15.
15.
Yes, 15 for last year. It may be that these are people who know that this is a mental health challenge, and then they seek help.
Okay.
Yes. So those are some of the numbers when it comes to some of the conditions that we
had reported at the facilities.
Yes. Okay. But let me maybe add these two. For last year, about 120 people attempted suicide region-wide.
120?
Yes.
Wow.
120.
That's a big number.
That's a big number.
Okay.
That's a big
number. And I know that goes for both sexes, male, female.
Yes, that goes for both sexes, male, female. Okay. And another number, 7 died because they are taking their own lives.
Yes.
Okay. Those are
what we call suicide.
Yes.
Okay, sir. So having given me these numbers for last year, 2023, let me ask: do you have adequate mental health professionals in our region to handle our never-ending mental issues?
Okay. I guess you know the answer already.
I'm asking. I don't think I know.
Because your department and other agencies, people have been crying for appropriate numbers and the right mix of professionals. And the same applies to mental health. Mental health, there are varied professionals that we need so that we can provide the needed service of high quality and the standard that we require. But as a region, for instance, we have only one psychiatrist.
Wow.
Even that one, we are lucky.
That's at the regional hospital?
No, that's the Presbyterian Psychiatry Hospital.
Okay.
We have one psychiatrist for the entire region. I think the last 2 years he started work. He completed school then. He started work. Then, as a region, we have only one clinical psychologist.
That one to one?
One. Even this person is also a nurse manager of one of our hospitals. So I'm very sure because of the administrative issues, he may not be able to handle the psychotherapies and what have you, as demanded by that instinct that we have. And when we come to the mental health nurses, also we don't have enough in the region.
We have just 15 districts.
Yes.
The regional directorate is not able to procure at least one nurse each for each of the 15. I mean, each of the districts. That was just 15 of them.
Okay, as for that, we have
the mental health nurses.
At least you have a mental health nurse for a district.
Oh, okay.
As for that,
you have.
Yes.
Okay. So it is the top.
There's no district. There's no district in the region that we don't have a mental health nurse.
Okay.
Then there's also another category: technical officers, community mental health, and then public health officers, mental health.
Okay.
We have some numbers generally in the region. Okay. But I will not say that is adequate to take care of the mental health needs of the people. Okay. Because for the mental health nurses, most of them are not from Upper East region. Okay. And so, and unfortunately now we are not having more of those numbers coming. And the few who are here are also living, taking transfer
after they have marked some time in the region.
Some have spent some 5 years, 4 years, 10 years, and then they leave to some other regions. So the numbers keep reducing. In there.
All right. This one I don't know whether you have it off head. On a normal day, like what would be the ratio of population, for instance, to mental health specialists? Like every one mental health specialist should be taking care of, say, 1,000 or is it 500 mental health issues, if you have that.
I don't have that. But on a day, depending on the facility, you may have some number of people visiting you.
Yeah. So let me just ask this one then, because I was gonna actually ask, how often do your mental health personnel attend to or receive clients at the facilities? Do people just walk in, or there are referrals from smaller health facilities to the main ones?
Okay, both. As we stand now, anybody with a mental issue or who thinks that something may not be right with him or her psychologically can walk into any health facility for attention. Any health facility. Then you can also be referred from one facility to another for support. All
right. Should people feel stigmatized going to see a mental health professional? You know, we are still living in the age where people hide or sneak into corners. Some wear caps, some cover themselves with veils to go for antiretroviral drugs. Do we have a situation where people should also feel stigmatized going for mental health care?
Yes, people feel stigmatized going for mental health care. People say it's something like some form of shame associated with a mental illness, has been a mental illness, or a relative having a mental illness.
But as a professional,
no, there shouldn't be any form of stigmatization against anybody living with any form of mental illnesses. There shouldn't be one. And there shouldn't be any form of fear of somebody who is living with a mental illness. As I said earlier on, it could be you, it could be me, it could be somebody today. Tomorrow we don't know what may happen. Somebody was living a normal life until the person had an accident which affected, there was a head injury, and that made the person to develop some form of mental illness. We all don't know when any mental illness could befall any of us. So instead of stigmatizing people, we should rather show love, care, and support to anybody going through sin.
All right. So on that note, are you able to tell me roughly, on the average, how many cases, for instance, will call at a facility in regard to mental health?
Okay,
roughly,
it depends on the level.
Okay.
Normally at the chief compound, definitely the number will be smaller.
Okay.
It may not be every day.
Okay.
Then at a health center, you may see higher numbers. At the district hospital, the numbers are also higher.
And of course, at the regional
hospital, definitely as a referral facility, the numbers are higher.
Okay.
At the regional hospital, on the day, sometimes you could get about 30 people coming for care.
Okay.
Sometimes the number go higher. Whenever I know, sometimes when they hold especially psychiatric outreaches,
That one to come with announcements.
In a day in the facility, some people record 70 and sometimes over 100.
Okay.
Then the attending psychiatrists have to work from morning to sometimes 7 p.m. Before you close.
That could also be the fact that people have issues relating to mental health, but they don't know where to go get help. So mostly when they hear of this outreach, then everybody pours in. Yeah. Okay.
Then sometimes because, as I mentioned, in the region now we have only one psychiatrist, which is not easily accessible. Okay. So if that person should come closer to your district, then definitely everybody want to
make
benefit. Yes. Okay. From the services of that person.
Okay. Okay, sir. So are you able to tell me, for instance, if your outfit, that's the regional mental health unit, do you, for instance, have school clubs and then community volunteers helping you out in as stakeholders in handling cases relating to mental health?
Yes, we have community health volunteers who support colleagues at the facility level when it comes to the detection of cases at the community level, because these volunteers, they live in the community with all of us, so they are the first to realize that or hear that ABCD is taking place in the community, which may be related to mental health. They are not solely mental health volunteers, but they are volunteers that we have generally in the health system who also support mental health activities. Then there are some of these volunteers, they themselves have some form of mental illnesses or psychosocial disability. Then they are giving out themselves, they are volunteered to support others who have some form of mental illnesses, so that they can also benefit from the service that they have also benefited from or benefiting from. Okay,
so they are more like survivors of mental health, helping out people because they have tasted the experience, they can better explain things. Okay.
Yes.
All right. But generally, how can society help in providing mental health care through all the levels you have mentioned, from, let's say, the chief's compound level, the health centers coming forward? What can community do? What can opinion leaders do in helping your outfit and the Ghana Health Service in general handle issues of mental health?
I think one of the things we can do is what is taking place now, giving opportunity for education to be done on mental health, so that once people get to know about mental health and mental illness, then they will be able to utilize the knowledge that they have to assess the needed mental health services, the services that are available within the Upper East region. So that's a plus to you. Thank you so much for the opportunity. Then at the community levels, we have chiefs, we have assembly members, we have other opinion leaders. It can create an opportunity or organize or invite a mental worker. Then they will organize, discuss on the day that they will organize a deba, so that the mental worker can talk to the community about mental health issues generally. Opinion leaders and chiefs can discuss with the mental workers within their jurisdiction. Then they organize a community deba for the said staff to talk to the community members about mental health issues. If there's any issue that related to mental health that is peculiar, or they have identified that is a bother to them, they could ask him to talk to the community about that. The CSOs can also support in this direction, helping to give education. Then NCCE information service. I know Shraj social workers also support in this.
The social welfare community development.
Yes, they also support these areas very much.
Okay.
I know very well that in Bongo district there's an operational team for mental health, which comprise all these category of people, NHIS, ensuring that clients who are not having NHIS are registered onto it, and when it expires, they renew this for them. So everybody can contribute his or her quota. If there's any resource that you have, for instance, a motorbike for service delivery, that you can support the mental workers within your community, within your district, then you are free to do that, so that they can carry out the community-based activities that are highly needed. You know, I mentioned so because mental health is an area that is not well-funded. So you see mental workers using their own resources to carry out some activities, even though at the facility level you may be giving some amount of work, but this may not be enough. So at the end of the day, you end up using your own resources, going around educating people, visiting people in their community to see how they are doing. People who are defaulted, they're supposed to come for review, but they are not coming. Then there's a need for them to be traced to the community level. They organize routine outreach services so that services can be brought closer to the doorsteps of people. All these things require funding, which is not available. So if you are attached, you have the capability, you can support
the Ghana Health Service
in that regard.
All right.
Some misconceptions that we have. Some people think that mental disorders cannot be treated, or once you have a mental disorder, it cannot be treated. That is not true. Treatment is available for all forms of mental disorders. So for you to get the best out of the treatment, then you need to report to the health facility early. If there is delay, then the treatment, you will not see, the prognosis may not be very good. But once you report early, then the person can also be supported early to live a normal life. Then some people also think that mental disorders never get better. Mental disorders get better, and there are various forms of treatment that can be given. It's not only the medicines that people are giving. There's psychotherapy that the person is talked to, what we call it, a talking therapy.
The environment
the person is talked to, and the environment where the person is living matters a lot. Somebody may be taking his or her treatment. It applies to general health condition as well. But if you are not in a good environment, you will not see a good outcome. So the environment also matters a lot, and people will be counseled, and that also help them to arrive at very good decisions for themselves. And some people think that mental illness only happens to some people. So as for them, they can never suffer from any form of mental illness. That is also not true.
It's everybody's problem.
It
can reach you at any time.
Reach anybody at any time. It could be the president, it could be an honorable minister, it could be an honorable MP, it could be anybody, an accountant, a medical officer, even a psychiatrist, or work a mental illness or a mental professional. It could affect all of us at any point in our life, and indeed is affecting all of us. It's not leaving anybody behind. So one thing I normally say is that the good you want to be done to you, start doing that now, start practicing that now, start preparing that now, so that in case it happens to you, people can return that good to you
at that your time of need.
At that time of need. Then some people also think that mental illness is mostly caused by addiction, or people who are dependent on some substances, and so we should direct all our resources to drug trafficking and addiction. We should not worry about mental illness. Yes, some people abuse substances, and that is just a fraction of some form of mental illnesses that people would have.
Okay.
So attention should be paid wholly to mental health as a whole, because it's something that affects all of us. You may not know your turn. The focus should not only be on those who suffer from some form of substance abuse, but all of us.
Okay.
Then some people also think that mental disorders are not real illnesses, but that is not true. They are real illnesses. People not fake these illnesses. People are suffering from it. People are having good outcome based on the various type of treatment that they are benefiting from. So it is essential that mental health issues are put on the agenda of committees and governments, so that they can have or plan adequately for mental health issues. Then the logistics that are needed in terms of the human resource, the capacity building of the human resource, because new trends keep coming up, day in, day out. And so these people, health professionals, need to be addressed with the new things that come, so that they can deliver quality health service to the people. And for the medicines that people live with mental illnesses need, this is an appeal to the central government, then our municipal and district assembly as well, to our honorable MPs as well, so that they can support in terms of the medications that they need to support the other treatment that are available, so that the people who need them can get them. There are times that you do the education, people come for service, you do the counseling, then you need the medicines, and there are times that you don't have the full complement of these medicines. So anybody who is touched should also support in this direction. Then I will end by saying that mental illness or mental illnesses or mental health issues affect everyone. Then all of us should pay attention to our own mental health issues, and also pay attention to the mental health issues of other people, so that together we can live in a very good mental health state, and we can provide the needed support to people who need them. People living with mental illnesses need love, they need care, they need support. So this is what they require. They need respect from you and I. So anybody out there who knows somebody living with any form of mental illness, show the needed care, show the needed support, show the needed love to that person. It will surprise you how the outcome for that person will be. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Edem.